Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we are previewing UFC London Blaydes versus Aspinall. We're going to talk about Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz. Yeah, made official for UFC 279. And Charles Oliveira's next title defense. We know who it is. Is it Conor McGregor? It is not.
Let's go!
I know AJ's disappointed that it is not.
Ole, 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 ole.
Oh, boy.
Ole, oh.
Oh, hey. What's with the
What's
hat?
up? What do you mean it's not
The
Conor?
hat is interesting tonight. I don't know.
It's more like Guinness hat, man.
It's a Guinness hat. Does it say?
It's a Guinness
it says
hat,
Guinness on it. All right. Did you win
It
that
actually is a Guinness. You thought I was bullshitting, eh?
from a beer drinking contest or?
No, this is actually given to me by one of our loyal fans to the show.
Nice.
But
Well,
you know
that's
what?
nice.
I'm
I
all
didn't get a
dressed
hat.
in, well, dude, you know. Some people like the AJ. Some people like, Super Dave Simon. Some people don't like us at all. But this guy, thank you, Arnie, man.
All right.
The true
Thank you,
Londoner.
Arnie. Shout out to everybody
That's it,
tuning
man.
in
Manchester.
here tonight. Our buddy Woods MMA UK is going to be going to the UFC show this weekend
Nice.
out in London. Miss Brooklyn
Nice.
Lizard, shout out to you as well. Everybody watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you're watching us, either live or
Itch.
later
You
on.
got the itch
You
for
know,
the Twitch?
either you're watching us here on a Thursday night at 8 p.m. Hey, Dave, nice hat. I'm not wearing a hat. I don't understand. The AJ's the one with the
No,
hat.
Dave is the hairless guy.
Hairless.
AJ is this guy. Well, the
I've got
hairless
hair
guy, man. You got
on
goatee
my
going?
head
You've got it going. Sorry,
a
bud.
little bit.
Couldn't see
Takes
that
a while.
close. Since I'm not in studio with Dave, next week, I think, when are we in studio?
Next week, yeah, next Saturday for UFC 277, a.k.a.
crazy,
Dave cashes in big time. I can't wait
gonna be
to make so
nuts.
much money off gambling next week. I might just hold off on all my picks for tonight, skip gambling this weekend, just to save all our money to put it all on Juliana Pena next weekend. Oh, baby. Oh,
I don't
baby.
know about that, man.
Yeah, well, you didn't know about it the first time either, and you were wrong, so what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Juliana
man, but I keep
Pena, plus
Just
240,
remember
the
that
underdog.
first round, man.
Plus
It was a
240.
10-8 round, man.
How'd the fight
Dave,
finish?
don't forget, bud. Here, I'm telling you, man, it was a 10-8 round. Amanda was smiling like there was no tomorrow. She was so confident. Everybody, like you knew, like honestly, Dave, did you think that she wasn't going to finish her off in the second round? There's no way you thought Juliana was going to win at that point. No way. Come on, bud. Be truthful. Spill the beans, man.
Name
you know
another.
that she didn't look good.
Name
It was 10-8,
another
man.
long-time champion in the UFC who loses the championship to the number one contender, gets finished in her mid-30s, by the way. Long-time champion. Then comes back and gets vengeance in the next fight and takes the title back. Name a champion, men or women.
There's none. There's none.
It doesn't
But
happen.
Amanda's going to do it.
Well,
I know, but Amanda's
I
going to
mean,
do it, man. I'm
you can
telling
say
you.
that, but history and trends
Yeah.
don't work in your favor.
It's true. I know. You're right, man. There's not too many.
That's all I'm saying. Everything is trends in MMA. The more you watch MMA, the more you realize these trends, they just keep repeating themselves. Certain people are unstoppable until they are not. And then when they're not unstoppable anymore, they're very stoppable. It's weird. I can't
thought
figure
Randy
out what
Couture
it
came
is.
Close. Didn't Randy
Look at
Couture come
Tyron
close to
Woodley. This guy was a UFC world champion, and then like 3-4 years later, he's getting knocked out by the YouTube kid. Like what?
Jake
People
Paul, man.
fall
Don't mention
fast
Jake.
in this sport.
Thanks.
Yeah, they do. Everybody has their time, and I agree with you, man.
Wonder Boy
Like,
Thompson.
Father
Everybody
time
thinks
is,
Wonder Boy Thompson is a brilliant striker. This man fought Tyron Woodley in 2 straight fights, nearly an hour in the octagon, 2 championship fights. Couldn't finish him. Jake Paul finished him. I mean,
but
come on.
listen,
When
man,
people fall,
Dave.
they fall
Whoa,
fast.
whoa, whoa,
Amanda
whoa, whoa.
Nunes is the greatest women's fighter of all time, but she became that.
Thanks.
She gained her name by beating Ronda Rousey and Cyborg.
Yeah, but wait, hold on a second.
Valentina
there.
Shevchenko. And
Coach,
Ronda
let me in.
Rousey,
Let
I'm
me
going
in.
to ignore the Valentina Shevchenko, who's still very relevant, but we're not going to talk about that because Valentina was fighting outside of her weight division. Like, Amanda is a champion right now, still at 145, no longer the champion at 135. That's Juliana Pena. But she fought Valentina Shevchenko at 135, and Valentina is the champion at 125. So I think it's a different story there with Valentina. But, you know, Amanda has been fighting for a long time. And she made her name and she made her reputation off beating Ronda Rousey and Cyborg, who are legends of the game, but are no longer that relevant in MMA in 2022. I mean, Ronda isn't at all. Cyborg still is in Bellator. Like, she's still beating pretty much everybody they throw in front of her. That's why I'm really disappointed that they let Cyborg go. Because we never saw the rematch there in the UFC. And I think that would have been interesting. I think it would have been closer the second time around. But the UFC had this narrative that they wanted to push of, oh, Amanda Nunes, she beat Ronda, she beat Cyborg, she's the greatest of all time. You can't touch Amanda Nunes. How about a Cyborg rematch? No, she's already finished that. Let's get Cyborg out of the company and push Amanda Nunes. Like, that was the... I don't know if that was the move entirely. I think Cyborg was playing some tricks there with her management. There were some problems. But it worked out for the narrative of Amanda Nunes being the greatest of all time because Cyborg never got a rematch. Cyborg never got another shot. And then Amanda beat some very tough people. Jermaine Durandamy, Holly Holm. But when I saw Amanda not able to finish Felicia Spencer in 2020, I thought, I don't know. How are the wheels starting to fall off? You know, like, you figure she'd be able to finish her, and she couldn't. And then also the going up and down in weight. She didn't carry the baby. Her wife did. Amanda didn't carry that baby.
Sleeping, man. I got a kid of 2 years old. I haven't slept in 2 years.
Yeah,
I mean, you know that, Dave.
Yeah,
that's
I know
what
that.
happens, man. Sometimes there's factors that, like, mess you up. I'm sure those are the factors that messed up Amanda.
She left her gym.
You're so involved.
She left her gym, too. She left American Top Team and started her own camp that's being coached mostly, from what I understand, by her wife.
It's not the best move, dude. Everybody makes a
mistake. Are these good signs to you? Everything I'm telling you about Amanda Nunes, you're like, yeah, you're still picking her. Next week, you're going to come to me and be like, Dave, she's going to win, da-da-da, you're crazy again. And I'll be like, fucking let's go on Juliana. She's an underdog. I can't believe it. The trends don't go in Amanda's favor.
It's the 10-8 round, dude. It's that 10-8 round, man. That's what it all comes down to. It was like she fell into overconfidence, man. Like, which she should, because she's the best.
If Amanda had a 10-8 round in the first, Juliana had a 10-0 round in the second because she finished her. Okay? It was over.
Bud. You're right.
Like,
man.
a 10-8 round doesn't mean anything unless you finish the fight. Oh, you had a good round. Oh, what happened in the next round? Oh, I got finished. You know, it's like, oh, well, okay.
It's still a weird finish, man.
Cool.
Something doesn't make sense, but I'm telling you, it all has to do because of the baby.
Amanda knew she
man.
wasn't ready for Juliana. Amanda knew she didn't have what it took to go 5 rounds with Juliana because Juliana does not get tired. So what Amanda did was put the pedal to the metal and try to finish her in the first round. When Juliana showed that she's too tough to be finished in the first round, the bottom fell out of the Amanda Nunes game plan, and round 2 she had 0 gas tank left and got picked apart.
Which is straight.
That's what happened.
I'm going to blame it.
Because she can't go 5 rounds with Juliana. She can't do it. She knows she doesn't have it in her anymore to do it. She's not motivated. When people are calling you the greatest of all time, fight after fight, you just keep beating people. You're in your mid-30s. You just had a kid. You're thinking about another kid. You got millions of dollars. You're doing all right. I don't know how motivated you are. I think Juliana's pretty damn motivated. Watch a few episodes of this season's Ultimate Fighter with Juliana and Amanda and tell me your read on how they are. Because my read is Juliana is determined to prove everybody wrong again, and Amanda, she's chilling. I don't know,
dude. I'm gonna look at the series. I'm gonna make my final decision by next Thursday. But right now, speaking, I still feel confident for Amanda to beat her. she made a mistake. She had a very dominant first round to the point where she was smiling, and she could have finished her off in the first, which she didn't. Came into the second, a really weird loss. I think she was gassed. I think there was a lot on her plate. The baby. I'm blaming it on the baby. I know how it is, man.
I don't think you should blame it on the baby.
Sleep.
I think you should blame it more on Amanda fighting at 145 and 135 and trying to go back and forth for so many years.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
You're right. It is hard to do.
Nobody does
Amanda,
it. When you win a title in a weight division, most people that have been champ, right, the double champ, they go, they win a belt, and then they move up the weight. The belt the higher weight class, that's where they stay. Conor, when he won, he was a 45 champ, and then he won the 55 belt. He's like, forget 45, I'm going to 55 permanently. Amanda, she didn't do that. She won the 45 belt. She defended it a couple times. Then she's like, I'm going to go back defend the 35 belt. It's too much. Cejudo, too. He won the 125 belt, went up, won the 135 belt. Then he retired.
Wants to come in, man. Did you hear what he's saying? He wants to come in and challenge Volkanovski, man. He's like, I'm coming in, man. I want to fight this guy.
That's a big fight.
I'm telling you, it might happen. It might happen. I think we got to see Cejudo back. It doesn't make sense that he's been gone this long. That's he still has a lot of fans behind him. The guy is like, he can whip up a frenzy, man.
I'm not a huge fan, but I have tons of respect.
But he brings on the entertainment, man.
Yeah, I'm not super entertained by him, but I do think that he's incredible because he's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling and a 2-division UFC champion, and then retired on top as one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time, because on paper, how could you deny that? Gold medal, double champ in the UFC? What? It's incredible what he's accomplished. He's one of the most accomplished combat sports athletes of all time, and if he wants to fight Volkanovski at 145, I think combat sports owes it to the man to let him try and see if he can be a triple champ, 3-weight champ, and an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling? What?
Look, I think time might have been time off would have been good for a short period of time, but now it's been years. I think he's at a different level compared to Volkanovski. Volkanovski, man, is like, I don't see anybody beating this guy, and I don't see Cejudo coming in now beating him. There's no way, man. And you know what? I was talking about Sherbatov and all that. I saw videos of Cejudo when he was training religiously, and you know what? There's no way.
The famous Sherbatov tapes that AJ always brings up. The famous Sherbatov tapes that I saw with my own eyes, Sherbatov tossing around Cejudo, not only just tossing him, a beautiful toss, man. And Cejudo wasn't too happy, but Sherbatov was, Yoni, man, he's a beast, man. It's a shame that he didn't make it to the big leagues because that guy was exciting. All to say is this, Volkanovski is at a different level now, man. This guy is untouchable. For many years, I don't see anybody trying to touch this guy, but yet, as an interesting fight with the smack talk that's going to happen with Cejudo and all that kind of stuff, and you never know, maybe that guy has something in his pocket that we don't know about, but he hasn't been fighting. That's a huge difference, man. You got ring rust, and then you got seriously long ring rust. Cejudo doesn't. Are you hearing this shit,
man? What is it?
You don't hear that?
Yeah, I do. What is it? Like a microwave going off?
It's like a car alarm going off.
Yeah,
it's right there. It's right outside my window. Shut
somebody's
the
busting
fuck
into
up.
your car, probably. Man, I told you that guy that was in front of my driveway before. I had to scream out at him, what the hell are you doing here, man?
How long is this going to go on for?
I can't really hear it, Dave.
Oh, okay. Well, I could hear it.
But I did hear something at first. I thought it was my microwave going off or something. But anyways, all to say is, you know what?
Cejudo versus Volkanovski would be a fun fight. I'd like to see it.
It'll be a fun fight.
I think I agree with you. I think that the time away, and just because Volkanovski is the man, I just don't see it. I think that Volkanovski wins that fight. Would be a very good fight, though. But Volkanovski is still angling for that fight with Charles Oliveira. But somebody needs to tell him that ship has sailed, right? Because Charles Oliveira is going to be fighting Islam Makhachev, UFC 280, October 22nd in Abu Dhabi. Oh, my goodness.
Jesus, man. That's crazy, man. It's happening, man. That's gonna be a sick fight. You know, I love Charles. He is just like unbelievable, man. Like he's gone from like at one point like mediocre to all of a sudden, man, he got like some Superman sprinkle dust on him, and all of a sudden this guy is untouchable. This guy has gotten better and better, and he's still getting better. But man, Islam, we called it in the beginning of January, saying that this guy would be the future champion in that division this year in 2022. I think it might actually happen, dude. At this point
Yeah.
here, I think if anybody can outperform Charles, especially man on the ground too, and Charles is a submission specialist, but Islam, man, like overall, man, it's going to be, Dagestani rule, man. This is another Dagestani champion in the making, and it's going to happen in Abu Dhabi of all places. And you know that all of Khabib's like team is going to be there. There's such a huge following for the Khabib fight team. Dude, he has all the chips on his side to win this, man, and win it for his people, man. It's going to be crazy. Islam,
I mean, it's a massive
What's your
fight.
money?
Islam Makhachev right now minus 200, the favorite, opening odds for that one at
that
UFC
crazy already?
280, October 22nd in Abu Dhabi.
But again, he's fighting Charles Oliveira, man. Like, man, and one mistake, and that's how that fight ends. That fight is going to be so tight. It's not going to be like a blowout. I don't think Islam is going to completely control the fight. I think it's going to be a heavy fight. It's going to go the distance. The gas tank is what's going to be the biggest factor here. And really, man, that mental focus to be able, to win the fight and not just defend the fight. Whoever's going to be the guy really aggressive and fighting as opposed to defending is winning that fight. And I don't see Islam like defending as much. Like that guy's mindset is just to go straight through like a tank and win the fight.
Yeah, it's
Charles'
tough though, man.
only thing that
Oliveira
bothers me is that
Oliveira's on such a roll. His striking is so good. His jiu-jitsu is so good. I don't think the jiu-jitsu is going to work with Islam, but his striking might be better than Islam's, and that might put Islam into some trouble. That's a hell of a fight, man. That's the fight that I've been wanting to see for a really long time. I'm really glad that the UFC didn't go the ridiculous route and give Conor McGregor the title shot like there were rumors that they were going to do. That was not the fight to make. This is the fight to make. Thank you, Uncle Dana White, doing the right thing once again. Please send me $250,000. My birthday's October 3rd. Thank you, Dana. But honestly,
Listen, man,
I
Dave,
love what they're doing
listen.
here. They're making a great fight. I'm going to shit on a fight in a second here. The Khamzat Chimaev Nate Diaz fight to me makes very little sense, but we'll talk about that in a second. But this Islam fight against Charles, it's the fight. Islam is the guy that people think is the champion or is going to be the champion. Charles is the current champion, and every title defense, he looks better and better. So at one point, you might think, oh, Islam will smash Charles, but the more you see Charles Oliveira go through opponent after opponent, the more you got to question. The more you got to question, and Charles Oliveira right now, undefeated since 2017. This guy hasn't lost in 5 years, and he's crushing the competition. He's finishing pretty much everybody. Finished Michael Chandler, finished Dustin Poirier, finished Justin Gaethje. Beat Tony Ferguson, beat everybody. Smashing the competition. And Islam, he's beat some guys, but he doesn't have the resume. He's got Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises, Bobby Green in his last fight. It's not the same resume as Charles Oliveira. So you wonder, can Islam smash through Oliveira like he's been smashing through everybody? I don't know. And, as a betting man, I see Charles Oliveira as an underdog, and I think, there's value there. You can't help but see some value because Charles is deadly. His striking is deadly. And his jiu-jitsu, too, man. If Charles Oliveira submits Islam Makhachev, I'm not that surprised. I'm not. You shouldn't be. Because he's that slick. My God. He's so good at everything right now, and that's what you have to be at the top of 155, but Charles is talking about beating Islam and then saying, hey, Khabib, it's your turn. Come take this ass whooping. And like, it's possible. It's very possible.
But Dave, what I'm trying to get at is that the craziest part about this is that I remember at one point, Charles coming to the United States, he didn't even have like a team to corner him. I mean, this guy, like, it was at a point where he was almost like on his way out of the UFC. You remember that time? I remember, like, my coach, like Fabio Landa, who was I forgot who he was cornering at that point in the UFC, but Charles had
Probably
nobody
Patrick
in his
Cote?
corner. I don't know if it was Pat. It must have been Pat. Maybe in his last fights. I can't remember exactly who he was cornering. But all to say is this, is that Fabio had to go and corner Charles. They're both from Brazil. They know each other. But still, it just goes to show you, man, like, at one point, nobody was giving this guy, like, even, like, a real thought of him ever being a champion. And that's a given fact. I mean, he was 1 foot away from going back to Brazil and fighting back in like MMA combat in Brazil. But today, here we are, one of the most deadliest fighters in the UFC, like, just ripping apart everybody. And again, even though he's fighting Islam, man, it's all going to come down to whoever makes that mistake. Whoever makes that mistake in that fight is going to win this. This is how close this fight is going to be, because either one of these two guys, one is a champion, one could be a champion. But, man, if they could put two champions on one division, those are the two guys. These guys are – it's a shame that one can't be a champion, over the other. I mean, it's just tough, and it's going to be a tough call, man. It's going to be a hard one to call. I think Islam has what it takes to beat Charles, but Charles, man, I don't see anybody in the UFC that's ever gotten so much better. And you see it before your eyes from a guy that nobody probably gave time to where he is now, that everybody is like, claiming that he's going to be one of the best fighters that ever stepped foot in the octagon.
Well, Islam Makhachev, he lost his second fight in the UFC by TKO to Adriano Martins. Got knocked out in the first round.
Man, everybody can have a bad fight. We saw that with George. We saw that with Conor. We saw that with everybody. But going back to the Conor thing, if Charles does beat Islam, I'm telling you right now, we're going to see that fight, because Conor, Dana is really going with what makes sense. Islam deserves that fight. But for whatever reason, Islam doesn't beat Charles, I'm telling you, it's going to be a money fight next. Conor's going to come in and fight Charles, and it's going to be a pay-per-view blockbuster. And that's what Dana wants, man. Dana White wants. I mean,
maybe.
Look, there's always,
Conor should
I don't
fight
see Conor fighting Islam,
Jim Miller or Tony Ferguson or Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But
Something
think
like that.
about this, Dave.
Remember when Conor
Charles,
wanted to fight Diego Sanchez?
Yeah, that would have been good.
Seems about right at this point.
I don't know what Diego's doing now. I hope he's not with that Chi Kung master coach, whatever it was. I hope not. I don't know what's he up to, man.
I don't know. But I know that Jim Miller wanted to fight at UFC 300 because he fought at UFC 100, 200, and he'd like to fight at 300. And I think that it's possible. Him against Conor at UFC 300. What the hell? Come on.
Yeah,
Let's have a feel-good story for old Jim Miller.
But it's not
He's a good man.
Yeah, but you want to see Conor, like, you need somebody with a more of a hype name than Jim
Tony
Miller.
Ferguson?
Sorry, bud. Tony Ferguson, yes. How about fighting Islam?
Well,
the
that's
revenge
crazy.
on Khabib.
No, he would get demolished.
I know, dude, but it could be that revenge, man. You could build it up saying, I'm going to go after your student, in a sense, Khabib.
So you think Islam beats Oliveira?
If you tell me right now.
Yeah. Just give me a quick pick. I think he does. That's my pick. Yeah, right? I think so.
It's not going to be a walkthrough, man.
No, but I think he probably wins a decision. I think it'll be a really close fight. It'll be a tough fight, but the crowd will be on his side in Abu Dhabi, and I think he'll wind up pulling it through. I think he wins, but it's one I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see that one. Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, like, you talk about two of the highest level guys in the sport. My goodness, those guys are good at fighting.
That's why it's hard to pick, man. I love both of them. They're both amazing fighters. That's why it's so hard.
It's a tough one.
It's like trying to say who was better, Gretzky or Lemieux, man. Like they were two of the best players in the game at that time.
Wow.
I love both of them.
I'm in Villamard
But
right now, so
I
I
think
got to say
Gretzky
Mario Lemieux.
Well, yeah, you go to Delalo's, so the thing is
Yeah,
that
his pictures
that's
on the wall.
a
This
favorite.
is, I live in Mario Lemieux
it's
territory, you know? This is where he's from.
big time, dude. So
So
don't
I
walk
gotta go
around with a
with
Gretzky shirt there
Super Mario.
unless you want to get into a fight.
I mean, I think
Super
Gretzky was
Mario,
pretty
man.
cool, too. I think they're both pretty
Gretzky
cool.
was the best, man.
Yeah, I
Look,
mean, Mario
edge-wise,
Lemieux
I
was
give
the
it to
best.
Gretzky.
Nah.
Oh, no, man. 99, bud.
I don't
He was
really
the
know
best.
much
All
about
to say
hockey. I
is-
just think they're both kind of cool guys. They're really good at hockey. I've seen highlights
Man,
of
were they.
Gretzky, and it's like ridiculous. He has the puck, and he just skates around 5 fully grown NHL players, and then he scores. It's just like,
he can score from the back of the net.
Nope, going this way, going that way. You can't touch it, and they're just befuddled. They can't
Crazy,
figure
eh?
out what the hell's going on. It's like
Man.
it's like black belt level, you know, and they're all like white belts, like at hockey. They can't quite figure out what the hell's happening. It's pretty funny.
Good times, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
The great
Were
one.
they good times? I don't really remember. I was a kid when those
Yeah,
guys
man.
were playing.
I saw Gretzky play live, dude. I saw Mario Lemieux play live. I actually seen these guys, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know if I have. I don't think so. Probably not. I've seen a lot of these guys fight. I saw Charles Oliveira get tapped out by Jim Miller. I remember back then.
Did you?
Yeah, it was in Montreal.
Who was on that? Was it at the George fight?
It was, let's see, it was UFC 124, which was George and Koscheck. And Jim
You know what I
Miller
found out today?
tapped
Listen,
Charles
what-
Oliveira with a knee bar in the first round.
You know what I found out today, which was really cool? Remember Johnny Hendricks, who
Yeah.
fought George?
Of course.
Well, I just found out today, like there was this thing that his daughter was, she does some modeling. She's a very young girl, but anyways, they used her picture on some like news broadcast without the consent of the father, and it had to do something with, I don't know, policing and everything. And Hendricks texted back saying, you know what? My daughter loves police officers, and my daughter loves law enforcement. It's because I'm a cop, and that's where he is. He's become a full-time police officer.
Oh, really?
Isn't that
Wow.
crazy? Yeah, I just found that out. Yeah, Hendricks, man. I remember seeing him like in Montreal.
It's weird how he dropped
Man,
off
was
the
he
face
big.
of the map, because he was one of the best welterweights in the world.
Find him.
He was beating
Yep.
a lot of guys like Robbie Lawler and Carlos Condit and these guys, and yet, you know, like Lawler fought like a few months ago or whatever, a month ago, and Hendricks
Yep.
has just disappeared because he dropped off really fast. He went from being one of the best 170 fighters in the world to just struggling to win any kind of fight. It was
Well,
weird.
he had a weight issue. Remember, there was that whole weight issue thing.
I think he was
like-
one of those guys that was just a little too big to make 170, and cutting weight over time just took its toll on him. Too big to make 170, too small to make 185.
Yeah, here he
It's
is,
a-
bud. If
it's
you
a
want his
big
Instagram
jump.
account,
Yeah, he's a
here
cop
it
now.
is. He's a police officer. He looks good, man. He's looking good. Who's he? He's with. I don't know what unit he's with. But if you go to his Instagram page, you can see him in his full gear, man. I'm happy for the guy.
I
Like,
remember
I was like,
Johnny
wow,
Hendricks
a cop, man.
knocking out Martin Kampman with one
Jeez.
punch that sent him flying across the octagon. Like he
Big
punched
rig
him
was
and
the
the
reason
guy
for that.
flew. It was explosive. His left hand was so powerful. Johnny Hendricks was a beast. I mean, he put it on George St. Pierre. A lot of people thought that Hendricks
He did.
beat GSP.
Yes.
Of course, he
A
didn't
lot of
beat
people-
GSP.
yeah.
He just won the second and fourth rounds. George won the first, third, and fifth, and that's why George won the fight. Go back
Saw
and
that
watch
Instagram
it.
pic- saw
GSP
that Instagram pic
135.
of him.
I'll never
was
forget
great,
that
man.
fight. That was a famous fight. GSP and Johnny Hendricks, like that was classic. That was
he-
a hell of
I
a
don't know
fight,
what it
man. And
was.
George
Did he
like
come in
retired
heavy
after
at that point?
George retired after that fight.
Yeah, but I wanted to know, just to recall back, years back when that fight happened, I thought Johnny was over the limit when he went to fight, or am I wrong? Like there was something to do with the weight. Like I know that he had a hard time taking the weight off, but I thought he came into the fight above the weight limit.
For the George fight?
Yeah.
No. He was on weight for that.
Was he?
Yeah, he had missed weight a couple of times. He started missing weight a lot. I think at one point, like he had to go up to middleweight. He beat Hector Lombard at middleweight, and then he...
That crazy or what, man?
Then he lost a couple fights.
That's impressive.
His last fight in pro MMA was at UFC 217. A TKO loss to Paulo Costa. Bohachinia.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy
now he's
how...
a police officer in Texas, man.
That's it, man. Like, all of us, you're a world champion, you're a contender. Like, he was a champion. Right when George retired, Hendricks fought Robbie Lawler for the vacant title, and Hendricks won. He was the UFC welterweight champion. And then they had a rematch, and Hendricks lost by split decision, and then he kind of lost a bunch of fights.
But think about it, Dave. Like, you know, here he is as a police officer. He loves his career. I wouldn't want to mess with that guy if he's coming in to put you like under arrest. I mean, this is Hendricks, man. This guy he's a beast. But when you look at the time, like, other than George and a few other guys who really made some good money, all the rest, even though they were champions, man, they weren't making like the millions of dollars like guys are able to make today. Just like even an average fighter can still make a pretty good living, you know, in today's UFC as opposed to the years back, you know. Are you looking for his picture, man?
No, I know what he looks like.
No, I thought you were going to show it with his daughter and everything. It's really cool, man, with his uniform.
Oh,
Give him respect, man.
I'm all right.
Come on, Dave.
I want to talk about Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz.
Did you see the Instagram post by Khamzat?
No.
It was funny, man. He's like standing in front of a grave of Diaz, you know. He's taking it serious, man. Doesn't look good, man. It's like Patty the Batty, man, who's going to be fighting on Saturday, man. Holy smokes, man.
This Khamzat Chimaev Nate Diaz fight, I don't really understand. Like, I'm struggling to get it because it just seems to be like they're just feeding Nate to Khamzat to make a bigger star. This fight is official, by the way. Khamzat Chimaev, Nate Diaz, UFC 279, September 10th in Las Vegas. So this fight is happening. And, like, okay, Nate's a legend, Nate's great, and he got beat up by Leon Edwards in his last fight. He had a good 5th round. Okay. He's durable. You know, Nate is durable. Khamzat had a tough fight with Gilbert Burns in his last go. And we saw a lot about Khamzat, and we learned a lot about Khamzat. Khamzat beat the hell out of Gilbert Burns in that first round. Second round, like, Gilbert Burns put it on him, and Khamzat looked to be fading. But the third round, he came back strong, and he won the third round, and he won that fight. And that's Gilbert Burns. I think Nate would have problems with Gilbert Burns in 2022.
100%, dude. Burns is a beast, man. He's jocked like a freaking stallion. Like a great punching power, great speed. One of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the game, man. You know, different level, dude. Different level. Mind you, man, there's a lot of haters towards like Khamzat, man. Like, you know, I'm looking at some of the tweets that came in from Jake Paul. It's like, better believe I'm putting my money on Nate Diaz to win versus fake Khabib. So that, you know, they're
surprised
calling him
by
fake
that. Why?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Did you see what Bilal Mohammed said? He goes, I hope Nate and Leon both win and ruin everyone's plans. I mean, a lot of people don't like Khamzat for some reason. I don't know why, man.
A lot of people like Nate, too. Nate is a fan favorite. People love Nate. I'm seeing DJ Bourne on the chat right now saying Nate could win, and I agree. I think Nate could win. He could win. I just think it's highly unlikely. And if you look at the odds right now for the fight, I believe Nate Diaz is a pretty heavy underdog.
You know what, man? I can't believe so many guys are like... Look, you even have BJ Penn, man. BJ, man, I'm glad you're still there, but Nate Diaz is a real OG, man, a real Look, yeah, he is a real OG, man. This is Nate Diaz, but this is Nate Diaz in 2022 going up against Khamzat. It's gonna get ugly, man. It's gonna be a mess. And I think this is his last fight on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. I
It
think
is.
this is his his goodbye wish, and he'll go out and do whatever he wants. Fight Jake Paul, go into bare knuckles, go to Bellator. He's gonna make some money wherever he goes if he actually shows up to the fight. But man, going into this last fight at the UFC is gonna be everybody's gonna want to watch this. But it's not the best fight for Nate, in my opinion. This is 2022, dude. Khamzat is like on a tear.
I think just the
And you know what?
pressure will be too much. I think the wrestling will
Sure.
be too much. I just think everything that Khamzat brings to the table will be too much for Nate at this stage in the game. Khamzat Chimaev right now minus 1,100 betting favorite over
Dude,
Nate
it
Diaz
makes sense.
plus
Think about it.
775 underdog. It makes sense to me. I
Think
mean,
about it.
Nate seems
Diaz
like
hasn't
he's
won.
aging out of his
He hasn't-
prime, and Khamzat is entering the prime. He's entering the top level of his career right now.
Dave, think about it. Diaz hasn't. He has just won one fight in the past 6 years, a unanimous decision against Anthony Pettis at UFC 241. That's back in 2019. One win, and now you're going to go up against like the terror of all terrors, a guy that prior to Gilbert Burns never got punched once in the face.
This is
He
what I
never
don't
got struck
understand.
once.
Why is
Man,
this
holy
fight
smokes.
happening? Like, this doesn't seem like the fight to make.
It's a feed me fight, man, and it's Dana's
Yeah.
way to say it.
Because
like,
Nate's
you know
on his
what?
way out, and they're feeding
Yep.
Khamzat to Nate because Nate's
man, he's the
leaving,
number
and they're
3,
trying to
man.
make Khamzat's name bigger. But, like, it's weird, man. The Leon Edwards fight made no sense either for Nate, and that's what the UFC gave him, a top contender at 170 pounds. Where Nate has never been a top contender. He has never, ever in his career, been a top contender at 170 pounds. He fought at 170 pounds and did not win. He's fought for the title at 155 pounds. That I understand. But even that, at this point, because he's lost so many fights, is a stretch. But Nate fighting top contenders at 170 pounds like Leon Edwards and now Khamzat Chimaev. And how are these guys beating Nate and then getting a title shot? Because that's what's happening. Leon Edwards beat Nate, and now he's going to get Kamaru Usman next. And Khamzat's going to beat Nate, send him packing from the UFC, and then he'll get Kamaru Usman after that. And that's another thing. Everybody wants to see Khamzat versus Kamaru. Everybody sees that as like the title fight. Nobody wants to see Nate versus Kamaru. That should tell you everything you need to know about why Nate and Khamzat should not be fighting. Everybody wants to see Khamzat fight Kamaru Usman for the world championship. And if you proposed Nate fighting for the world championship, people would, not believe you or kind of laugh. Because it's just not there anymore. So, he's not in the championship picture. Yet, he's fighting the number one contender by most people's accounts. A guy who just beat Gilbert Burns, who's a smashing machine at 170, who's not losing to anybody but Khamzat Chimaev and Kamaru Usman, the sitting champion. Khamzat Chimaev should be fighting Colby Covington. What? Khamzat Chimaev, and there's, thank you, Angelo. Shout out to Angelo. Angelo likes my Tim Raines jersey. Shout out to all my Expos fans.
Best Steeler in baseball, man.
Shout out to the Yankees as well, losing right now 7-2 to the Astros, which totally sucks.
Ooh, Astros, man. I told you they might take the World Series, Dave. I'm just saying.
I'm looking at Jose Altuve
This is
right
it.
now, and
This
I
is
hate him so much.
This is
Fuck
is
you,
a,
Altuve.
me
He's a
and
cheater.
Freddie were
Bunch of
right,
cheaters.
man.
Bunch of cheaters against the Savages
Don't be a
in the
hater,
box.
bud. Don't be a hater, man.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying the facts is that the Astros are big cheaters. Cheatertons. So,
Listen, man. Listen. Whoa. Hold on a
look,
second before you say anything.
No.
I'm just saying there
I
was
wanna
some people in
talk about Colby
MMA.
Covington.
Wait.
No.
This goes with Angelo. There were some people in MMA in the early days that were called out for cheating because they were taking copious amounts of Greek olive oil before their fights.
Why are you talking
And
about
then-
this right now?
Because you're talking about cheating, man. Is it really cheating or is it just a strategy?
I'm talking about Colby Covington. What I'm telling you about Colby Covington is that he is this guy at 170 pounds that isn't getting beat by anybody but Kamaru Usman. So why isn't he the gatekeeper for Khamzat Chimaev? That seems to be the fight. But the UFC, I think the UFC, they don't want Khamzat to fight Colby on the climb to the top. They want to see if Khamzat can get to the top first so they can sell that fight. This fight is just promotion for the Khamzat Chimaev title shot. Because if they wanted to get, like, if they give him Colby, Colby might beat him. Right? Colby might beat Khamzat Chimaev. So the UFC doesn't want that. The UFC wants to give Khamzat a fight that will make him look good, that will promote him, a big name like Nate Diaz, and then they'll push him to the title fight, and that'll sell a lot of pay-per-views because he just beat Nate Diaz. Because Nate is a bigger name than Colby, and Nate is also much more beatable than Colby. That's what's happening here.
Super chat.
That is a promotional tool fight that they're doing right now with Nate Diaz and Khamzat Chimaev. And I'm not about that. I'm about figuring out who's the best. And I think that a main event between Colby and Khamzat, 5 rounds, you figure out who the best is. And if Colby's the best, well, so be it. Maybe Colby has to fight Kamaru or Kamaru has to move up to 185 or whatever. But you definitely eliminate a contender if you put Khamzat up against Colby. Because Colby might beat him. But if Khamzat beats Colby, then it makes Khamzat way more legitimate and it makes you believe in him more against Kamaru. But I think at this point, the UFC figures the people already believe in Khamzat. So let him fight Nate. Let him get his name up. And then fight for the title and he'll make big money. And, you know, if he does beat Kamaru Usman, then okay, you can fight Colby Covington and fight him for the belt in the main event of a pay-per-view. And if he doesn't beat Kamaru Usman, he can still fight Colby Covington down the road because they'll both be around the welterweight division. DJ Bourne dropping the $10 super chat. Thank you, DJ. He says the Colby fight. I'm with you, Dave. It does make sense.
Yep.
Super chat. Super chat.
Patrick C. Hamilton says it's Nate's last fight. Won't miss this version. Me neither.
It's true, man.
Ever since the Conor McGregor fight.
I don't think it's his last fight.
Ever since the Conor McGregor fight, Nate Diaz has been in this weird zone. You know? He became a multi-millionaire, and it just got weird.
But I don't think it's his last fight. It'll be his last fight in the UFC.
Oh,
but
he'll
we'll probably
fight
see
Jake
him, like
Paul.
I said, in bare knuckles. Jake Paul. I think the Jake Paul fight is going to be.
For sure.
It's happening. Yeah,
Jake Paul being so
happening.
public in supporting Nate against Khamzat is just Jake Paul trying to get Nate to fight him. It's just public support of Nate because he's going to say, look, I'm giving Nate more money than he ever made in the UFC for this Jake Paul fight or whatever. Because Jake Paul is going to beat Hasim Rahman, and then he's going to fight Nate, and he'll probably beat Nate too.
Well, let's not forget, Dave. Hold on a sec. You know,
that's right.
The Diaz brothers have pretty good boxing. You know, they fought like boxing at a higher level than most of those guys have. So they know how to work the game of boxing. You were talking about Tyron Woodley before. Tyron Woodley, man, you know, no one was as good as him when it came to the wrestling game. The guy just had like phenomenal power behind him, but he wasn't gifted in the beginning as a boxer or a striker or whatnot. He just became a great striker. But when you're in the game of MMA, it's a different game. The angles are different. You have to worry about a lot of other stuff. But when he got into boxing, man, he just didn't have like that boxing, you know, that boxing feel and look. And we saw what happened. Jake Paul knows who to fight. He knows how to pick them and knows how to destroy them. I think with Nate, it'll be a different story, man. Nate knows how to box. So he knows how to put his mindset into the boxing game. You know, it's not going to be the same thing that the Funk Master did and got like knocked out. It's not going to be the same thing like Tyron Woodley. Where I thought he was going to give him a better run, but we saw what happened. Became the world's biggest meme, man.
But it's not really about Nate's boxing skill. It's that Nate is really a 155, 170-pound fighter, and Jake Paul's like a 195, 205-pound fighter.
205. I think he walks
much
around
bigger. It's just a size
205,
thing, and Jake Paul's got power, and he's young, and he's athletic, and he's, I think he's got a shot.
Good, man.
I think he's got a real shot at beating Nate Diaz, and I think that'll be Nate's next fight after he loses to Khamzat Chimaev, which he will, by the way. He will. It'll be the Jake Paul fight.
Bad.
It might be a decision. Honestly, it might go the distance because Nate is super durable, but he'll lose a decision. I don't know if Khamzat finishes him because it's hard to finish Nate. Like, how does Khamzat finish Nate? How does he do it? What does he do?
It's not going to be on the ground.
Nobody's really finished him. Nobody's really, like, Masvidal finished him when they fought for that BMF title, right? And like I said about that Conor fight, like, Nate was a guy who fought like once, usually 2 to 3 times a year, usually about twice, up until the Conor fight. He fights Conor in 2016, beats him in March, loses to him by decision in August, where he cashed in, then didn't fight for 3 years. Comes back, beats Anthony Pettis in 2019, fights in later that year in November against Jorge Masvidal, and that was a doctor stoppage because of a cut. Nate really didn't get finished in that fight. The doctors finished that fight for him. And then he came back 2 years later and he fought Leon Edwards in 2021. So after that Conor fight, things got a little weird for Nate where he just wasn't as active and just not as interested because he made his money and he'd done his thing. But you look at who's finished Nate. Josh Thompson finished him with that head kick. And he's the only guy to ever finish Nate Diaz legitimately. Hermes Franca tapped him with an armbar back in WEC in 2006.
Impressive.
Other than that, all Nate's losses are by decision and to some real tough guys. So, unless there's a cut and a doctor stoppage, or
which could happen,
you land the perfect head kick, I think it's tough to finish Nate Diaz. I think Khamzat wins by decision. And honestly, if he starts to fade like he did in the second round, if this is, I think, going to be a 3-round fight, which plays in Khamzat's favor. Because if it's a 5-round fight, I think
it'll be a 5-round, Dave.
I think in the 4th and 5th, things get shaky for Khamzat because Nate has an infinite gas tank, which is one of the reasons why he never gets finished, is because he never gets tired. When you're tired, it's way easier to kind of put yourself in the bad positions where you lose and you get finished.
Dave,
but Nate never gets tired.
Dave, he's a world-class triathlete, man. The guy is up there like doing like some heavy extreme things where cardio is like everything. The guy is unbelievably fit. And when he fought Conor and he got all that money, there was all those things that we saw him partying like a rock star. But those are the Diaz brothers, man. They'll do that with money or without money. But I think
more with money.
Yeah, more with money. You're
way more
right,
with
man.
I've noticed that they were fighting when they didn't have the money. They fought like all the time, and you didn't really see them partying. You saw them on their bikes, sometimes smoking weed, but like just kind of in their house. Now they're just like at clubs constantly. Especially Nick. If you follow him on Instagram, he's just a party animal.
It's crazy, man. That's it, man. You went from Tupac Chuck to Courvoisier, man. Then that's the thing with these guys.
But good for them, man. They've earned it.
Yeah, good for them.
They've earned it. And that's why people love them, because we've seen them go through the shit. We've seen them have fights that didn't go their way, but they kind of got screwed. Like if it were Pride rules, they would have won type of thing. Like we've seen decisions go against the Diaz brothers that were kind of shitty. And, as MMA fans, you see, well, the Diaz brothers put you in danger, but you were able to out-wrestle the Diaz brothers and kind of sit on them, and, it was kind of shitty, and the Diaz brothers are entertaining, and fans love the Diaz brothers. So when Nate beat Conor, it was a heroic moment because he cashed in. Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I worked for, motherfucker. I'm going to fight your fucking ass. And then he did, and he beat him, and it was amazing. And that's why people were so happy. It was a hero story, and people love the Diaz brothers. I love the Diaz brothers, but shit, nothing lasts forever, especially in the UFC. Things barely last 3 years. Anything you love
such-
in the UFC, you better hold on to it tight because it might not last 6 months. You know, like fighters
You're right, man.
that are the greatest thing today are nothing tomorrow, and that's just the way of the fucking sport.
You listen, man. You look at guys like Strickland that lost to Pereira. I mean, here he is commenting that he's going to be homeless now and probably be on drugs and that kind of stuff.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's crazy comments. Yeah, he actually said that. His comment is like, "I'm going to be homeless." I mean, you're absolutely right. Your shelf life in the UFC is very, very limited. It could be just one fight. That's it. And we've seen that like throughout the years where guys come in and we've never seen them again. You know, and that's even like when they're in the UFC. Prior to the UFC, there's so many guys that just don't make it. And just like football, man, sometimes your shelf life is about 3 years and that's it. You got to make the most money you can in those 3 years. But if you're somebody like Strickland right now that's talking comments like that, I mean, it's not like he's making millions. What do you do next if this is all you have? You know, unlike what we just saw with Hendricks, who became a police officer, he took the fighting game and turn something else into a career. But not everybody can do that, man. We've seen guys in this circuit, man, that have gone south and really gone the other way, man. So you're right, man. It's not an easy game. The Diaz brothers are really lucky because they made some good money. You know, fighting Conor, you're gonna make good money. He's gonna fight Jake Paul, I can assure you that at some point, and he's gonna make a tremendous amount of money. But man, it's not an easy game to stay in.
No, it's a
Even
tricky
George,
sport, man. It's tricky, and George got out at the right time. Khabib got out at the right time. Cejudo got out at the right time, thinking about coming back. It's real tricky, and you never know how that cookie is going to crumble. Look at the fights last weekend. Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega, main event. Ortega's in there, ready to go, looking like we have a fun fight. And first round, his shoulder pops out, shoulder injury. He loses the fight by TKO because he can't continue. Like, you never know how things are going to go.
We saw that, like, so many times. Like, I go back to like Pat Cote when he was fighting Anderson Silva and his knee popped out. We've seen that so many times, and that's like, it could be a career-ending injury. Lucky for him, he still had a few more fights, and he did pretty well outside of the UFC. Pat was smart with his money. He has a good broadcasting career, but man, like, all it takes is that one thing, and it's finito.
Yeah, I think Ortega's made some money, and he will be back, and he's still one of the top featherweights in the world.
Sure.
But it was a real, it's a setback in your career. You do all these steps, you prepare, and then you have a shoulder injury right, at the worst possible moment in the first round of a fight here. That could lead you back into a title shot. So that sucks for Ortega, and it sucked for the card because it was a pretty good card last weekend.
Yeah.
That got ended there in the main event, unfortunately. Amanda Lemos with a very nice guillotine submission over Michelle Watterson. That was a win for Team Dave. AJ went with Michelle Watterson on that one. Another big L for Team AJ. It was a loss for Team Dave in the main event, unfortunately, with Brian Ortega. But I don't really take that as a real loss because the fight never really got off the ground. I know that betting-wise, if you picked Ortega, you lost, but I don't feel bad about it because it's not really like Ortega got beat. His shoulder beat him. His own shoulder beat. Yair Rodriguez didn't beat Brian Ortega. His shoulder beat Brian Ortega. What, you don't like that? What's your problem? Your parlays suck, AJ. What are you talking about?
Last week it was horrible,
garbage.
Man.
And the week before it was garbage.
No, the week before I only had one loss, man.
I had no loss
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Last week was a really bad. My crystal ball was like failed me, man. Big time.
My parlay did get busted with the Charles Jourdain fight. I had Emily Ducote over Jessica Pena. That one came through for you. I gave you Dustin Stoltzfus over Dwight Grant. That one came through for us. I had Ricky Simone over Jack Shore as well. That one was a winner. Lauren Murphy over Misha Tate. Misha was the favorite going into that one. We all had Lauren Murphy with the win there. That was a surprising one. Not that Tate lost, but that she was the favorite. I really didn't get that. Surprised by the decision in the Burgos-Jourdain fight. Surprised,
that was a joke.
But not surprised. I mean,
what are you talking about, dude? That was the biggest. There was so many comments that hit the UFC because of that fight, which when you can say robbery, that was really a robbery. You have a guy that threw 119 significant strikes to 41. you know, who
But that's over the
basically
course of the whole
massacred
fight.
guy in the third.
That's over
He
the course of
massacred
the whole
guy in
fight.
the third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he won the first. You know, the second could have
okay,
been
well,
either
see,
or.
that's okay. So you're
But
skipping over the important part here, AJ. The first round, right? So the third round,
Yeah.
sure, Jourdain won that round 100%. Maybe he won it 10-8. And I saw
I believe
one
he did
judge
win it
scored the second round for Burgos 10-8 and the third round for
How does that
Jourdain
make
10-9, which didn't make any sense, but it really had
It
no
doesn't
bearing
make
on the
any
end of the
sense.
fight because that judge actually scored it a draw. So it didn't really matter because that judge scored it a draw because I think he gave Jourdain the first round. So if you win the first and third rounds 10-9 and then you lose the second round 10-8,
well, the
that's a
third round
28.
wasn't even a 10.
That's a 28
it was
total
really
score.
A 10-8.
That's a 28 total score, and your opponent has a 28 total score. So it was a 28-28 score on that judge's scorecard. So that judge scored it a draw. The thing is, AJ, I don't know if you understand how math works, and all, but I think you do. I think you're a smart guy. Let me explain something to you. The judge
I
you
feel like
disagree
choking
with
you if
the
I can only
most.
choke you through the camera.
All right, take it easy. The judge you disagree with the most, you actually agree with more than the other two judges. And I'll explain to you why. Because the judge that I'm talking to you about, who scored round 2 for Burgos 10-8, round 3 for Jourdain 10-9, he scored round 1 for Jourdain 10-9. Now, no other judge on that panel scored the first round for Jourdain 10-9. The other two judges scored the first round for Burgos 10-9. They gave Burgos the first and second round, hence 29-28 on two judges' scorecards, the majority
Based on what,
decision.
Dave? Based on
What?
what? It can't be this. So I'm going to tell you about the math.
I'm not saying
You
I
can't
agree
base
with
it-
them.
you
I'm
can't
not saying
base
I
it-
agree with them. I'm
No,
just
no,
explaining
no.
to you how the fight was scored. So the third round, Jourdain, 100%. Second round, Burgos, 100%. I don't think you can argue with that. He had his back for, 3.5 minutes of the round?
But there was nothing. There was nothing there, man. You
Bro.
cannot, listen, man. Listen.
But you're
every fight in
controlling
the
the
UFC.
fight.
Let me.
You don't think he
No,
lost the
every
second
fight-
round?
Listen,
Come on,
every
man.
fight that's
See, if you don't
every
say you
fight
lost the
that's
second
fought
round,
every-
your opinion
No.
means nothing
You
about the
can't-
first.
Listen,
Come on, man.
But look at the strike total in the second
cool.
round, and then look at it overall. I'm going to tell you something. All of a sudden, they're going to look at the ground control, which was absolutely nothing but just lay and pray. And all fights prior to the Jourdain fight, before there was never any fight given because somebody had more ground control. If you're going to have ground control, you got to be doing something with that ground control. That means you got to be attempting something, strikes, submission attempts. There was absolutely nothing but lay
Let
and
me ask
pray.
you something. Let me ask you
Try,
something.
pull, try,
Can I
pull.
ask you a
Listen,
question?
No offense,
Can I
but
ask you a
let me just
question?
ask you just the
Let
first
me ask you a
round.
question about
Jourdain,
MMA.
Second round.
Let me
either
ask
or.
you a question
Third
about
round,
MMA,
10-8.
AJ. Okay?
Sure.
If
Tell me.
if we start a round, okay, round 1, start. You hit me with a jab. Okay?
Yes.
In the first 30 seconds of the round, you hit me with one jab, clean jab right in my forehead. Okay? Then I take you down, I take your back, and I look for a rear naked choke, and I land little punches on you for 4 straight minutes.
If you're throwing
Hold
little
on,
punches,
hold on.
There's something going on. Yes.
Okay,
go
but
ahead.
maybe. But really, I have your back, and I'm controlling you on your back, looking for a fight-ending rear naked choke. You've hit 1 or 2 punches on me before that, but I've spent the majority of the round on your back looking for a submission finish. Have I not won that round? I win that round, right?
Look, man. Look. I'm going to tell you something. If you're going to look at it from a jiu-jitsu perspective, it's a
No.
neutral draw
MMA
there.
rules,
No,
I've
no.
won that round.
Listen, MMA rules apply to mixed martial arts, not to
That's right.
boxing or karate or a taekwondo
That's
rule.
what I'm saying.
These guys,
MMA.
it's a mixed martial art rule. So MMA, when it comes to wrestling, you're going to judge it by the wrestling standards. Jiu-jitsu, you're going to judge it by the jiu-jitsu standards.
Okay.
And striking, by striking standards. I don't care what it is, if it's boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing.
So
But
tell
the
me,
thing is that
did I win the
if a guy
round?
if a guy has my back for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
okay, and he's throwing some strikes, then he has the advantage. If he's doing something other than trying to submit me that is not working, there's no advantage. It's neutral. It's done. Nobody's winning that. That's what jiu-jitsu is about. You could be on your back, but if it takes you 3 minutes and you can't get a rear naked choke, You got
win
to
on
move on to
points.
something else.
You win on points.
You don't win the points.
If you could hold the back, if you could hold the back, and your opponent can't get off of you,
get an advantage.
no.
But you don't
If
get
you-
a point.
You
get
win
an
the points.
advantage in jiu-jitsu.
No, because you
don't
get a point for the back. You get the points for the
an
back take.
advantage.
You get points for the back take.
Listen, man.
You know the rules.
The difference. I know the rules, and the rules is this:
You get
if
points
you
for
don't
the back
attempt to
take.
do anything, listen. If you're throwing some punches and whatnot, the edge is going to the fighter. But the truth is that if you're not doing anything but just controlling my back because you're there to pray that the guy doesn't come out, I'm going to hold him till the end of the round. That's ineffective. That should have been stood up. That's ridiculous. And to be honest,
I disagree.
you know what?
But I think Charles won the fight.
Listen,
I'll give you that. I think Charles won the first and third round. I cannot believe that they scored it for Burgos, except for the fact that Burgos is from New York and it's shitty New York judges. Whenever they go to New York, there's something shitty going on. They have a garbage athletic commission. If that fight is in Las Vegas or Abu Dhabi or many other places, Charles definitely wins. Charles got fucked by some hometown cooking. That's what happened. Got fucked. Sucks.
But Dave, that's what I'm trying to say is at the end of that third round, if you're just watching that third round, I mean, it was definitely a 10-8.
Yeah.
There was
Charles wins on pride rules. Like, if you judge the fight 100%. As a whole, Charles wins for sure. You know? 100%. But unfortunately, that's not how they score it. And Charles got fucked out of that first round. Like, here's the thing, though. The second round, Burgos. Third round, Charles. First round, close enough that when you went to the judges, it was like, I don't know. Because it was close enough in the first round. I don't think Charles lost the first round. I'm just saying it was close enough where I could see Burgos fans making an argument that I would disagree with.
Man, you know what? I'm trying to look for the stats on Charles, but I know that Charles, every time he fights in New York State, he gets fucked. I mean, this is one guy that has losses on his record that were completely like off the wall. They don't make sense how this guy lost. When he fought, what's his name? Was it Green? What was his name? Mitch Green back, I think he was fighting somewhere in upper New York State, and he ended up losing that fight, where, in my opinion, he should have won, but he was a hometown favorite, and they gave the edge to Green, who ended up in jail, by the way, for murder, because he ended up
Green.
He was Desmond
Wasn't
Green.
Mitch Green the guy that went after Mike Tyson?
Yeah, I think so, man. But yeah, we're talking Desmond Green. So Desmond Green, like, going into the fight with Charles, he shouldn't have even been fighting because he was actually like pending a court date for murder charges. He ended up killing like a whole family there because he was on a cocaine drug binge, driving a car, and he's in jail now for murder. Which they should have reversed that win, by the way, just because of that. But that fight
Desmond Green,
Jourdain,
not Charles Jourdain.
Not Charles Jourdain. We're talking about Desmond Green here.
That's right.
Charles Jourdain should have got the win on that fight. Got screwed. He fights Shane Burgos. He won that fight. He gets screwed, and that's why I'm saying it's unfair, because sometimes in MMA, a guy might have a loss, but you got to really look into how he lost, because you know what, it changes the whole perspective of betting. Because, man, you know, it's false. I mean, it's just bad judging. Again, and you know what? There were so many messages sent to the UFC after the Jourdain fight to say that he won, that I'm sure Dana White said to himself, man, you know what? They should have gave Jourdain a bonus just for that, because the third round was like one hell of a fight, man.
Well, they'll give him another fight in the UFC, and he'll do well.
He'll make up for it.
He'll do well. He's a good young fighter, and he's still,
And he takes it well. He has, like, you know what I like about Charles is that even though he lost and he knows he probably got fucked, I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He still took it,
if he watches it again,
and he's like, yeah. No, he saw it. He knows that he won, but he didn't make a big stink about it. He just basically said, listen, I'm young. I'm going to keep fighting. And that's what I like about this kid. He's like, he doesn't, like, I'm taking the loss harder than he does. You know what I'm saying? And
you take it hard.
Look, I do take it hard because, you know what, man, I just hate to see that judging. It doesn't make sense, man. And I keep fighting the fact that we need to get more MMA judges.
All right.
Yeah,
okay, AJ, you're talking about judging, but you're scoring a second round for Jourdain, too. In your mind, you had a 30-27 for Jourdain, so
I said it's either or second.
It's not either or. It's not, though. Your judging is the worst judging I've ever heard of. It's really awful.
Say what you want, Dave, but AJ is usually right at the end.
I always do say what I want. Angelo Contagonis dropping a super chat without a message, just because.
What?
Thank you, Angelo.
What's up? Hey, is Angelo? Hey, listen, just quickly.
Angelo is
Is
now
the,
the Super
Ring-
Chat leader of the night. Thank you, Angelo.
He's always the leader, man. Angelo's the best.
That's
But,
right.
and thanks to everybody that supports us. Like, even if you don't put money, like, we thank you for watching us. Like,
Yeah.
And,
Hey, if
you
you're
know,
not dropping any dollars, you could like the video. That costs you nothing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if
like
you haven't
it,
already.
share it.
Subscribe, share it to whoever, and click the bell when you subscribe so you get those notifications every time we are on. It's time, AJ. It's time. It's Vader time. No, it's parlay time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about Freddie, man.
Oh, Fred is not here. Did we not address that Fred's not here?
Yeah, I just got a text here like saying, where's Freddie?
Oh, yeah.
So Freddie has COVID again. I think
No, he doesn't. Fred
3,
is
4.
on vacation. He's on a mini vacation. He's not here tonight. He may be back with us next week, but he may not. I don't know. He's on some sort of vacation. It's extended vacation. He's not here tonight. He may be back next week, but maybe not. But he will be on the watch along for UFC 277. So that's when we will definitely get Fred back. Fred is busy. Although I saw him today, so he was all right.
Busy guy, man. Freddie's always busy, man. Now that he's been married, now he's got no choice. He's got to do like the husband chores and all that kind of stuff.
And he's got to wrestle me like 3 days a week,
On top of that, too.
That's right, baby. All right, it's time. It's parlay time. It's UFC London time. Let's do it. Let's talk about Curtis Blaydes and Tom Aspinall. Let's talk about Jack Hermanson and Chris Curtis. Paddy the Baddy against Jordan Levitt.
Wow, that was a crazy post-interview, man. Holy smokes.
What?
With Paddy the Baddy, like between the two of them, man, like they're... Paddy usually is not upset going into any fight. The guy is the coolest, chill guy in the world, man. But, man, is he upset going into this fight. He got insulted. He got ridiculed. He got, like, all kinds of, like, crazy things
that
were said
mad
about him. He's very, very mad. You know what? I'm telling you. And he also has the fact that that Paddy does a lot of charity work and he helps a lot of people in his community. And, he does the best that he can, and money, like, that he makes, he pretty much, like, gives it away. And unfortunately, he was taking care of a 4-year-old child that had serious disease, and he wanted to bring the child to the ring, and was like a big Paddy fan. Unfortunately, the child passed away. I forgot if it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So Paddy has that on him as well to fight for little Lee that passed away. Paddy's a good guy, man. I can't understand everything he says because he's got like such a thick accent from Manchester, I believe, man. And that's why I'm wearing my Manchester shirt, bud. But the guy is like, he's fun, man.
He's from Liverpool.
Yeah. I thought he was from Manchester.
No.
But okay. But anyways, all to say is this, man. The guy is one cool dude, man. Like I like him a lot.
I
really
him
like
too.
This guy.
I like his opponent Jordan Levitt too, twerking on people after he beats him.
Oof.
He's a fun fighter, and
man.
A lot of people are saying that this is the main event. I know we're jumping on this fight first because it feels like the main event. This Paddy the Baddy's got some real steam behind him. A lot of people are excited about the Baddy, and he's doing pretty well for himself. He's looking pretty good. He takes on 10-1 Jordan Levitt, who's got some really strong wrestling, but I don't know if he's got the striking to deal with the Baddy. And I think that is where this fight will be decided. Can Jordan Levitt deal with the striking of Paddy the Baddy, or can Jordan Levitt get key takedowns, though, and put the Baddy on his back? I think that Paddy is a good grappler, but we have seen him get taken down. I just watched a fight with Paddy and a man by the name of Soren Bak. They fought in Cage Warriors, and in the first 2 rounds, Paddy looked really good. It was a 5-round championship fight, but in rounds 3, 4, and 5, Soren Bak kept taking Paddy down, putting him on his back, and Paddy really couldn't get out from under him. He lost most of the scrambles and just wound up on his back and lost the fight. But that was a 5-round fight, and that's a guy, Soren Bak, who I think is a higher caliber fighter. But Jordan Levitt has wrestling ability and has the ability to put Paddy on his back. It just, I don't know if he could do it against a fresh Paddy. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it right off the bat in the first round. And if he's not, then he's going to be playing from behind because this is a 3-round fight. So if you can't get that takedown in the first and you get hit and you get beat up a bit, you're going to be in some trouble because in that second round, it's do or die. If you don't get that takedown in the second round, well, you might as well pack it in for the third because it's not happening. Unless you can get the takedown and grab that submission, which I don't think you're going to get in a 3-round fight against Paddy Pimblett right now. I don't think you finish him within 15 minutes. So I think it's going to be a tough road here for Jordan Levitt. I think that he winds up getting beat. Maybe he winds up getting knocked out. It might be a decision. I'm not sure how this fight ends. I could see Levitt surviving. I mean, let's not forget this guy is 10-1. He's no joke. People are disrespecting him left and right. He trains out of Las Vegas with Syndicate MMA. It's a very good gym. He's only 27 years old. He's got a wrestling background. 10-1 as a professional, and the only guy to beat him is 12-2 Claudio Puelles. So I think that you got to be real careful going too hard here on Paddy the Baddy. I think he probably pulls off the win, but minus 260 I feel like is a bit of hype. Right now, Paddy the Baddy minus 260 the favorite, Jordan Levitt plus 210 the underdog. I think that minus 260 is hype money. I think it would be closer if Paddy didn't have such a great attitude and talk so well. You know, he's just a dynamic personality. People want to see him win. He's got a big fan base in England. The London fans will go crazy for him. The fans will help. The fans will help. I think he wins, but but there are ways to beat him. I don't think Jordan Levitt finds those ways, though. I think Paddy the Baddy gets the win. By decision, though. I don't think he knocks him out.
I'm going to disagree with you on that, Dave, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Levitt is amazing. He's got like six submission wins in the UFC. The guy is like amazing. As a fighter goes, you know, his grappling game is phenomenal. But when you're going to look at overall grappling like skills, Paddy has it above him, which is, I'm not worried if it goes to the ground. I don't think it's going to be a submission win here. I think Paddy's like striking ability is unbelievable. When he fought Vargas, man, the guy was able to rebound and come back like a lion, man, and just finish off the fight. That's the thing with Paddy. And I like to see that when I want to see like these hype trains coming. It's not only about the win, you know, or always like winning in like record time. It's knowing how to take the punches and being on the opposite side and being able to rebound back and win like strongly. And that's the thing with Paddy. He's able to rebound, take the beating if he needs to, and he's still going to come to win. This guy's got like such a strong like Londoner type mentality. I'm in there to fight, I'm in there for war, and I'm in there to win. I'd rather die than lose, man. And this is the thing with Paddy. He's exactly that. This guy is not only about the hype. This guy is really something phenomenal. There's something special about him. You know, and I love the Monkey King. He's a great, I love him as a fighter. But I think it's going to be a TKO or a KO, and it's going to happen really fast. If it doesn't happen in the first round, it's going to happen early in the second round. It's not going to go to 3. I don't think it's going to decision. I think Paddy's going to come out and showcase. There's a lot of anger in him, which I haven't seen, and I don't think I'd want to see this guy angry. Like I saw the conference with him talking about why he was so upset, and let me tell you, this guy is fired up, and he's going to put on a clinic for all the hometown fans, and especially in the UK, man. You want to hear roaring fans? These guys are nuts. It's unbelievable. They're great fans, man. It's going to be a great night, and Paddy's coming out big. First round, I'm pretty sure he's going to knock him out.
All right. What about Gustafsson? Gustafsson coming back, first time in a couple of years. Oof. He's gone from light heavyweight to heavyweight, now back down to light heavyweight. He's 35 years old, taking on Nikita Krylov. Gustafsson plus 166 the underdog. Krylov minus 209 the favorite. Krylov's lost a few fights, though, recently. He lost to Paul Craig in his last fight, Magomed Ankalaev before that. But he's fought some tough guys. You know, Craig and Ankalaev are no joke. This is an interesting fight because I don't know what Alexander Gustafsson's going to look like right now. What does he look like at 35 years old, 2 years away from the sport? He was one of the better light heavyweights in the world at one time. The last time he won 2 fights in a row, it was against Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira, the 2 former champions. Then he lost 3 in a row, losing to John Jones, Anthony Smith, and then recently Fabricio Verdum back in 2020. It seemed like he was done. Now he's back. I don't know.
Man.
I don't know.
Man. If this was Gustafsson before retirement, I probably would give the edge to him. Like if he didn't have this ring rust and he's coming in with a different mindset, Krylov, he's inconsistent. He could go either hot or cold, but when it comes to striking, he's got that edge right now when they're fighting on Saturday. It's gonna be a battle. They both can wrestle. There's no doubt about it. If they get to the ground, man, they can handle it. No one has the edge on that side. But I think the striking is probably going to go to Krylov. I hate to go against Gustafsson because I love this guy, man. I still think he won against, my buddy. But the thing is this. You know what I'm talking about, Dave. The first one. But anyways,
yeah.
I think he's going to pull it off. I think Krylov is going to pull this one off.
Yeah, I think Krylov picks up the win here, too. Co-main event, we got Jack Hermansson against Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis keeps flying under the radar here in the UFC, and I think he's going to fly right into a win here against Jack Hermansson. I just love the boxing of Chris Curtis. He is so sharp. He's so dangerous. I think he puts it on Jack Hermansson. This one, basically a pick'em right now. Curtis minus 113, Hermansson minus 109. I have been riding Chris Curtis ever since he came into the UFC. I've been betting on him and winning. He's been the underdog in most of his fights and coming through. Chris Curtis has been making a whole lot of money for Team Dave over the past few months here. Yep. The win over Phil Haas, I bet on him. He was a big underdog there. The win over Brendan Allen, he was an underdog there, made more money. And then Rodolfo Vieira, I remember betting on him there. And AJ, I remember you took Vieira because he's a jiu-jitsu guy, and you get blinded by that. That was just in June, and now he's right back in it less than a month later, taking on Jack Hermansson in a big spot, replacing Darren Till. This is a short notice fight. It's a big spot, but this is what Chris Curtis does. He comes in and he smashes. He comes in at the right time. He is on fire right now. Chris Curtis minus 113 I think is great. I like Chris Curtis. I don't know if he finishes Hermansson, but I think he definitely wins a decision. Chris Curtis, let's go. Action Man. It's his nickname. He's the Action Man.
Man, this is going to be a crazy fight. Just coming in at the last minute. His conditioning is there. He just fought not too long ago. I mean, this guy is, like I said, 8 wins in a row, man. He's got some deadly, dangerous striking, man. He could put some heavy volume behind those punches. He could knock you out. The thing is, I think this is going to go the distance. It's going to be a good fight. I don't see anybody getting knocked out in this 3-rounder. I think it's going to the distance, but I think Curtis is going to pull it off again. I'm going to go with you, Dave, on this because, I blew it with the Vieira. But after I saw what he did and seeing what he's been doing, it's hard to go against him, man. I think Hermansson would have been better off with Till, and it's just a worse match for him going up against Curtis.
Paul Craig, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the UFC. He keeps being the underdog in these fights and then pulling off victories. Yep. It's really strange. He's the underdog again here, plus 122. Volkan Ozdemir, minus 150, the favorite. Like, Craig is only a slight underdog, but still. Volkan, just 32 years old. He fought for the World Championship against Daniel Cormier so long ago, 2018. See, 2018 was like 4 years ago, but in MMA terms, it feels like a lifetime ago. You know what I mean? Like, how weird.
Right,
this is what I'm saying about MMA. Enjoy what you enjoy because it's not going to last 3 years. Like, remember when Daniel Cormier was the world champion beating Volkan Ozdemir? That was only 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy, man.
It's crazy.
It seems so long ago, man.
That's it. It feels like forever ago, but that's how fast the UFC moves.
And that includes 2 years of COVID pandemic on top of it. Like,
yeah,
it's
but
nuts,
the UFC
man.
kept moving during that time.
It kept moving, but you know what I'm saying? It's
matter.
just like, yeah, like we didn't move much. I mean, everybody gained a few pounds, but all to say is, man, like, it's strange how things change, man. Like, in a year, things change, but in MMA, you're right, man. It's a long time, man, 4 years. But all to say is that Craig is looking good. If you're looking at him, like, The guy's
Yeah.
fought like 6 times in the last 3 years. He's gone 5-0-1. He's in each win the guy has won with a finish. This guy is dangerous. He's so like overlooked. Like he's one of these guys that you're like, oh, Paul Gregg, I'm gonna go against him, but he keeps winning and he keeps winning, and he's won like some fights where you're like, I can't believe he actually won that, but he pulls it off. The guy is dangerous, and he's gonna have a hometown crowd behind him too. Another man, another guy from I think he's from Scotland if I'm not mistaken, but regardless, man, he's gonna have a lot of fans behind him. There's gonna be a lot of people cheering for him, and I think Ozdemir is going to have a rough ride with Craig. I think this is going to be a submission win again.
Paul Craig finished Jamal Hill, TKOs and everything. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to Jamal Hill, but this guy's 10-1. He just knocked out Johnny Walker in the very first round. Like, Jamal Hill is a killer, and the only guy that's been able to beat him is Paul Craig. And Craig didn't beat him with jiu-jitsu. He beat him with striking. And this guy is a knockout artist. Craig has been putting it together, and I feel like people aren't giving him the respect that he deserves. I cannot believe that he's an underdog going into this Volkan Ozdemir fight.
Crazy.
I think Paul Craig wins this fight standing or on the ground. And if it goes on the ground, it's not like, oh, he'll have an advantage. His advantage will be wide. It will be Paul Craig by a wide margin, and he will wrap up a triangle or an armbar with the quickness, and it'll be tap, tap, tap over. Paul Craig is the best underdog on this card. If you want a good bet, one fighter, one fight, it's Paul Craig. Plus 122 the underdog, slight underdog. You know, it's not like what Juliana Pena is going to win us next weekend, guys, but I'm telling you, Paul Craig over Volkan Ozdemir is the play this weekend. That's where we're going.
And you know what, Dave? I totally agree with you, man. And like going back to Craig with his striking, man, he wasn't known for his striking, but it's improved so much that he can outstrike guys that are known for their striking. And if you look at Ozdemir, in his last 5 fights, he's been taken down 3 times. If you're going to be taken down by a guy like Craig, it's going to end pretty bad for you. There's going to be some form of finish by submission, and it's going to be a nice one. Whatever he does, it's going to be a highlight reel for submission. I can't believe he's an underdog, but hey, man, that's the pick to make some money on. I'm on your side. I'm going with Greg on this by submission.
Yeah, I just tweeted to Nintendo of America because they just dropped, and that went on the screen for some reason. I did that while you were talking. I just saw a thing at Nintendo of America. Because they just dropped new Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo games on the Virtual Console, and I'm like, give me that Super Bases Loaded. I need that on my SNES Virtual Console. It was one of the best baseball games ever. Anyways, what the hell are we talking about? Oh, yeah, UFC. Main event is Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. And this is a hell of a fight, man. This is a great fight. Blaydes is really good. He's got great wrestling. His hands are really coming together. The only guys that have finished him are 2 of the top guys in the division, in Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou. Everybody else is going down to Curtis Blaydes. Jairzinho, Volkov, Dos Santos, Abdurakhimov, Overeem, Olenek, Hunt. I mean, the list goes on of guys that Curtis Blaydes has defeated inside the octagon. 16-3 as a professional, going up against Tom Aspinall, who's 12-2, who is undefeated in the UFC. He's won 5 in a row, including an armbar win over Volkov in his last fight in London. I think that London crowd is going to help Tom Aspinall. It's going to give him some energy. It's going to propel him. And I saw an interview with Tom Aspinall, and he just looks in great shape, and he's focused, and he knows how difficult of an opponent Curtis Blaydes is. And I think Aspinall is going to come into this fight. He's going to have all his ducks in a row. He's going to have everything ready. He's going to be very well prepared with a very good game plan against Curtis Blaydes. And if he follows through and sticks to that game plan, he will win the fight. I really think that Aspinall is a better athlete than Curtis Blaydes. I think that he has better jiu-jitsu than Curtis Blaydes, and he's probably a better overall grappler. I think that Blaydes is a better wrestler and has better takedowns, but I think once it hits the mat, Aspinall puts Blaydes into trouble to the point where Blaydes might not want to put Aspinall down on the mat because there's that danger of submission. But standing up, I think there's a danger too. I think Aspinall could knock out Curtis Blaydes. I think he could submit Curtis Blaydes. I also think he could win a decision. I'm not really sure. I think that, they're both so well-rounded and so dangerous in all the aspects that I could see it go in many different ways. But I just think that Aspinall has more tools, more ways to win, and that's why I'm picking him to win. But it's a close fight. Odds makers right now have Aspinall minus 140, Blaydes plus 114, the underdog. It's tight. I'm going with the hometown guy from London, Tom Aspinall, main event. I think the age factor helps as well. He's still evolving, just 29 years old, whereas Curtis Blaydes, Blaydes is young. I thought Blaydes was older. He's only 31 because he's been fighting in the UFC since 2016. He's been fighting in the UFC since he's a very young man. That's crazy. 2016, he's 31, so that's what, 6 years ago? 25 years old, he started in the UFC? Holy shit.
He looks so much older.
Guy's a prodigy.
The thing is that he's an amazing fighter, man. He has such an accolade to everybody he's fought, man. You mentioned some names, man. He's beat Overeem, he's beat Hunt, he's beat Olenek. The guy is, impressive. But the thing is he's fighting Aspinall. Aspinall is 5-0 in the UFC. The guy has 4 performance bonuses. The guy comes out and does a clinic. The guy is fast. He's big. If you're going to look at overall as a fighter and a fighter IQ, the guy has everything for him. This guy is the future in this division. The thing with this guy is that he's so good that he moves like he's a middleweight. He's quick. He's fast. And he's got good cardio. And the thing when you're looking at the striking game, if you're going to look at the overall percentage, Blaydes has a 69% TKO rate. And generally, the guy, when he throws his punches, it's at 50%. He usually throws 2 punches, and he only probably gets 1. So he gasses himself out if it goes into the latter rounds. The thing with Aspinall is that this guy comes in and he has a great striking game. And his percentage for TKO KO is at 75%. Now, this is the difference. When it's going to come to the stand-up game, man, the guy has it all. And if it's going to go to the ground, Aspinall can submit you, there's no tomorrow. The guy has great submission wins on his record. This guy is something. It's going to be a great fight. I think somebody's going to get finished in this fight. I don't think this is going to go the distance because, the power bombs are coming from Curtis Blaydes. But someone is going to get stopped. I think it's going to be a TKO stop, and I think Aspinall is going to do it before the 3rd round.
Well, we'll see. Saturday night, UFC London. I think it's Saturday afternoon, right? What time is the...
Yeah, it's going to be, for us, it would be an afternoon fight.
I will give you the time.
It's at 3 p.m., actually, the main card starts. We had a fight in the afternoon last week, and we're having another one this Saturday, which is great.
2 p.m.
Because we've got
Sorry, AJ. Main card is at 2 p.m.
It's at 2? I thought it was at 3 they were showing on...
2 p.m., 11 a.m. Prelim card, and 2 p.m. for the main card, UFC London. Let's give you our parlays. First off, though, before I give you a parlay, I'm going to give you that single bet on Paul Craig over at bet99.com. Bet with us. Use that promo code Ringside to take advantage of a matching deposit bonus offer of up to $600 on your initial deposit. So there is Paul Craig, and a single bet on Paul Craig at plus 122, $20 gets you 44.44. So you basically double your money, 2 p.m. confirmed. Double your money with Paul Craig here on Saturday afternoon, and I think that is the play. And here we'll switch to the Team Dave parlay. We're going to throw Paul Craig on there, Tom Aspinall, Chris Curtis, and Patty the Batty. $20 gets you 205.26 over at bet99.com. 205.26. It's a plus 896 parlay. It is a 4-fight parlay for Team Dave. The Team Dave parlay going again. Patty the Batty, Chris Curtis, Tom Aspinall, and Paul Craig. That is the Team Dave parlay. And now AJ will give us the Team AJ.
I'm going to be pretty much on the same the same picks with you. The only difference
What?
is that I'm gonna go with Aspinall. I'm gonna go with. Are you taking this down, Dave?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Chris Curtis on this
Yes.
last minute replacement. That's gonna come in and win. I'm going with Paddy the Baddy, man. I think Paddy the Baddy's gonna knock him out. And then I'm gonna go with the Nikita. This is gonna be a tough one, but I'm going with Nikita for the win. And then I will take Paul Craig, and I think Paul Craig will probably win by submission. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna go with any of the other fights. I mean, there's some good picks in the prelim card. I think Mason Jones has a pretty a strong position to win against Klein. There's some other guys that'll be some interesting fights, like Mark Diakis, that's going to be there. If these fights don't get canceled. But yeah, that's my parlay, man. What's it paying?
There it is.
Read
You
it
got
up, Dave.
you got Aspinall, you got Curtis, you got Pimblett, you got Krylov, and you got Craig. $20 gets you 306.74. That's pretty good.
Wow, that's not bad, man.
Wow.
I like that.
It's the same parlay as me, except you added Krylov, and it really upped your return.
I mean, look.
I don't like that fight because we have the same parlay, except you have a 5-fight parlay and I have a 4-fight parlay. We're picking the same fights. Aspinall, Curtis, Patty, and Craig was my parlay, and you have the same parlay except you have Krylov. The only reason I'm not putting Krylov there is because I know how good Gustafsson can be. And if he shows up as top Gustafsson, he's only 35. It's not like Krylov is John Jones, you know? Gustafsson could beat, like the best Gustafsson should beat Krylov. So you never know. But I would pick Krylov. But I'm not putting him on my parlay because I just don't trust him. I've never trusted him, and I can't trust him. And I'll tell you something else about Paddy the Baddy. I don't like that he gets so big between fights. Have you seen him between fights when he's not in camp?
Yeah, man,
he's ginormous. He gets he gets quite chubby, which makes me wonder, like, how hard is he working in the gym? Is it really just a diet thing, or
man.
it's weird?
He's
it's unusual.
Listen, man, look,
right? It's
guy,
unusual.
Man, look, he's enjoying life, and the thing is, when it's time to look in the gym, he's always training.
You never see GSP enjoying life. The guy's retired. He's not even. You know what I mean?
Well,
if I was GSP, I'd be getting all fat and stuff, eating everything, not working out. This guy's still in the best shape of anybody. He doesn't have anything to train for. Paddy the Baddy, between fights, he gets like pretty big. He gets kind of bloated. He doesn't seem in great shape. I don't know. Makes you wonder.
This guy, you know what? In a way, it shows that it doesn't bother him. The guy has no stress. I think that's awesome. I think a guy that has a mindset like that, listen, he has I'm telling you, this guy is something. But when he comes to train, like I said, when it comes time to fight and the contract is signed, this guy takes his job seriously. And you can see it. Look at the shape he's in now. He's unbelievable. But for sure, man, he likes to enjoy life, so let him. That shows you, man, this guy doesn't stress himself out. Except he's walking into this fight on Saturday upset for the first time, which is a bad sign, man, for the Monkey King. I'm telling you. I think the Monkey King is going to get monkey splatted. It's not going to be a good night for him.
I think you're probably right. And that's why I have Paddy the Baddy on my parlay. And that's about it from us. I want to thank Patrick C. Hamilton, DJ Bourne, and of course the super chat leader, Angelo Cantagonis. Thank you guys for supporting the Ringside Report Network tonight. Thank you, Angelo. Once again, you are the super chat leader. And again, Paul Craig, slight underdog. That's where we're going. The parlays are good. The fact that we have identical parlays is pretty good, too. I think that says a lot about our picks and how confident we are. I think this could be a good weekend for us here. I think it could be good. Man. I had two straight perfect weekends. And last weekend we got a little screwed by some hometown judges and stuff like that. But this weekend I think we'll be all right. This weekend I think we're poised for more victories. So stick with the Ringside Report Network. We are doing all the research. I mean, who else is getting ready for this Paddy the Baddy fight and watching his fight against Soren Bak? You didn't even know who Soren Bak was. I'm well aware who he is. He's a very good fighter who's in Bellator right now. He's got like a 17-1 record. He's incredible. He beat Paddy the Baddy. And it wasn't like, oh, Paddy got screwed. No, he beat Paddy the Baddy. He's good. And that's it. We'll be back here at some point. I'll be back. Whoa, nothing. I'll be back tomorrow night with Johnny North, 10 p.m. Eastern time to talk about all the professional wrestling going on. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after SmackDown. We'll talk about Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and all the things in wrestling. What? You got final thoughts, AJ? What?
My final thought, don't forget Saturday, man. We should be attending.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Show.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know about that.
What's going on? There's something I don't know about?
Yeah, he might not be actually wrestling there, so I don't know. I might not be going.
What's the point, then?
The point is, I might not be going. Because...
What? You're not going. AJ's not going.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay. I mean, will you make an announcement tomorrow night on your show?
Yeah, I'll talk to John about it tomorrow. We'll make an announcement.
What the hell is going on, man?
Just watch the show tomorrow.
What? Listen, Johnny's got to get a good manager. That's what he needs. He needs a good manager. He's got to get PR Mark to be on his side and start cutting some deals, man. Because you know what? Johnny North is probably the best wrestler I've seen. And I've been watching a lot of shows pre-COVID, man, live.
He's my favorite wrestler.
Man.
Yep, he's my favorite.
Him and Jeremy Prophet. I've seen Jeremy Prophet wrestle too, man. The guy is unbelievable. I mean, we've got amazing talent here in Montreal in wrestling, man.
Especially our buddies Johnny North and Jeremy Prophet. Those guys are the best.
I'm telling you,
they're my favorite.
They are the best. They should make a tag team together. Those two.
It would be a pretty good tag team. Jeremy's got a very successful tag team of his own, though. The Black Quebecois, they're tremendous.
No, I know that, but he can have another tag team partner in another circuit,
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I do love seeing them together or against each other. It's always fun because they're two of my favorites. They're great guys. Jeremy gave me his picks for the UFC this weekend. Jeremy's going with Blaydes, by the way. My buddy Jeremy Prophet. He likes Curtis Blaydes.
He's going with Curtis Blaydes. I mean, look.
He likes Blaydes. He likes Paddy the Baddy. He likes Hannah Goldie as an underdog. I think there's value there in Hannah Goldie over Molly McCann. Yeah. I think that's a really good pick. There's some other picks on this card that I could give you. I like Jay Herbert over Kyle Nelson. I really like Muhammad Makhachev over Charles Johnson, but Makhachev is minus 500, so who cares? But I like Hannah Goldie over Molly McCann. Goldie plus 320 the dog, I think, is a little crazy. So I think Goldie could win that fight for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from that one because
I'm not convinced that it's going to happen, but I think that there's a lot of value in Hannah Goldie. Just as a single bet, plus 320, yeah, there's a lot of value there. All right, guys, I'll see you again tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Johnny North for some professional wrestling talk. Thank you again to everybody watching. Appreciate you. And we will be back, as we are every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Ringside Report MMA. Next Thursday, we'll preview UFC 277. I will explain to you once again why Juliana Pena will beat Amanda Nunes. And I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me. Except this time I've got a little evidence on my side. It's called The First Fight. Can't wait. And then on Saturday, July 30th, we'll be watching UFC 277 and SummerSlam at the same time. At the same damn time.
Slamming, man.
UFC 277 and SummerSlam, same night. We'll be doing a watch-along for the UFC and a post-show for SummerSlam, all at the same damn time. Big week next week, SummerSlam and UFC 277 weekend. We're getting ready for it, and I'll see you again tomorrow night right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.